Hello, my name is Rocco, and I want to welcome all of my followers to this new video. So, God bless you, and may God open the paths of magic with you. Magic is often an opinion that people have. Some people believe that they have to follow a certain current of magic. Some people believe that they must follow another. These choices are prevalent in those youth that refer to a vast literature of magic without including the holy in these pieces of information that they gather and summon up to honor their possibility to choose and their possibility to honor, they say, different deities and different angels. It's a very new age concept that we have to elaborate a bit more, because as God says, there is just one type of magic, and as Christ reiterates, this magic is the magic that summons God's name and seeks for His grace and help. Such magic can do everything. So we don't have to follow the legends of the earth and thinking that anything spiritual adds up to our curriculum, and we just have to follow the light. We just have to follow the light. That's God, and the light within us, that is a reproposition of that divine sparkle, although God is impossible to replicate or duplicate because He's one and one only. Although we have the concept of the Holy Trinity that has, I believe, inspired a lot of writers like Greg Braden that wrote The Divine Matrix. The Divine Matrix is that we're all connected, so just like the 3 points of the Trinity are connected, so in our one, we, although being different persons and having different souls, in a way, we're all connected and indivisible. So what we do to ourselves, we do to humanity. So taking care of ourselves is also taking care of humanity. We don't have to be excessively given or altruistic, especially in these times. Everything the magician says is also always a reading. It's always that wisdom that people seek, and although we're not calling things by certain names because we like to send these symbols without being noticed, we still work and operate behind the curtains. Uh, Christ was the greatest magician because he had the courage to display himself as a magician. When I say magician, I don't mean sorcerer, and I don't mean magician intended in a negative way. I intend magician as someone who, um, from the word magic, can use energy. We all have and all use energy. The only thing that the non-magician uses it with incompetence, while the magician uses it with knowledge. So it's a distinct, clear, and vast difference between the two worlds of the unconscious magician that messes up things because doesn't know the power of his mind, that all of his thoughts correlate and bring a result. And the magician acknowledges, while at the same time relaxing and letting go, but acknowledges the power of the mind and the power of spirit to create change in the physical world that he can dominate. The first lesson that was taught to me years ago when I used to go to magic classes daily, and the amount requested was about what nowadays could be 60, $70 weekly. And the teacher would keep me 7 to 10 or more hours a day, although initially we agreed to do 1 or 2 hours just because we have to evaluate each student and the progress that the student is making. She said that we can there are the thoughts of people, and these thoughts can be, first of all, can be read, and second of all, can be changed. And the way she meant to say that the word change is something that reawakens some kind of knowledge in me, and some kind of memory of when I studied magic, perhaps in past lives, or when I practice it. As we all know, and it's also diffused by writers like Radley Valentine and Doreen Virtue with their one of their latest texts, Past Lives. So it's a concept. It's been um, Christianized in the sense that it's been understood as Christian as well, and not only Buddhist. So there is the resurrection at the end of times, but there's also reincarnation. So in a past life, I was a witch, so a woman practicing white and black magic. It was in that life. In Salem, towards the say the golden age and towards the descending period of Salem. I wasn't condemned for it. God condemns the use of satanic magic, doesn't want people to kill us or other people, even in the past, for having used God's power for good reasons. Just like we shouldn't um, punish those that are being possessed today or in the past in the church, and those that in very few cases have used black magic and within the church. So there's a common sin, and whoever commits it is punished by God and God only. If witches started to, in those times in Europe, kidnap children to offer them to the goat, when I say the goat, I mean Satan, and witches would communicate with the devil and offer him children in sacrifice. When we mean the devil accepts children in sacrifice, we mean that the devil kills and eats or drinks or rejoices, if that term is applicable, in the innocence that we have. So he kills our most vital and most beautiful part. As Jesus said, you have to be like children to come with me. So when he says let the children come to me, he also means let everyone come to me in their most innocent state, as this is the state that provokes ascension and elevation to the most high places where the angels stay and where no one can enter, no one evil. So the state of paradise is applicable in the same manner here on earth, provoking the same effect of repulsion towards those entities that are nauseous and are toxic for us in the physical sense, because I do know people that were in a pact with the devil, and upon rejecting it, they threw up green stuff, just like in the movies, for a couple of days. And it takes several years sometimes to once again be united with Christ. And I still remember that experience where one morning Mother Mary said to Satan that he had to flee from me, and he did. When the command is given and the authority is taken over, we are liberated instantly. And I remember talking to, just like in Spanish, you have the word amigo and amiga. In Italian, there's similar terms. Friend, meaning a guy, and a friend meaning a girl or a woman. So these two friends came to me, Michael and Mary, and they guided me towards a place outside where I could buy white candles to reject my satanic pact. And I asked Michael for a sign if that was really my destiny, although I knew that that was just temporary. Once you're in deep shit, like they say, or once you're in it, you think that it's going to last forever. But the devil, like always, is only temporary, and like the Bible said, will only last a generation. So, in Italy, we say that the devil makes pots and doesn't make the covers for them. So, by that we mean that we cannot be restrained. I think we could interpret it as such. We cannot be restrained by his intellect, which is much lesser than ours and infinitely lesser than the creator and many 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 times lesser than any angel or animal, for that matter. Any insect or anything that's gracious and divine has a greater respect for life and therefore greater wisdom. Any um, fly or any mosquito or any worm would have a greater, say, celebration of life within them, and therefore a greater knowledge and understanding of it, and therefore a greater intelligence. So, although he was taught to communicate, and he can do so in different languages, just like we witnessed during exorcisms, he can talk, say, in Hebrew, or you can talk in Japanese, you can talk in Arabic. He can talk in all these languages because um God, say, gave all the supreme beings once there were in the skies, these programs, let's say, of knowledge of different things, and he still has some of these programs, although they're not updated. And he wasn't given the best, like the top notch, the cutting edge programs that the other angels were given, the ones that stayed, say, until the last minute. So the ones that stayed with him. So he just left the party without you know being able to get the best uh, out of it, without being able to get the best shot. So without being able to be forgiven, without being able to be loved, without being able to be um, comprehended, and without being able to be studied or researched, and without being able to be rejoiced and hugged and smiled at, or treated with respect, treated with gold, treated with dignity, power, and honor. So he left before God was given these rewards, and he has, again, some of these outmoded and outdated stuff with him, which he sometimes uses as a display of his power. And but once these gifts were corrupted, say someone was given the gift to have a large family and have maybe 3 or 4 kids, but then when they're 22, they kill a child, and then God takes away that task or that duty forever. How much can this person remember after 2 or 3 years of the grace that they had? Would you trust that person that got into jail because they murdered someone? The devil murdered. I'm asking Jesus right now how many people he murdered. By murdered, I mean got him to the extreme point where they chose to die. He can't kill physically, but he can instigate. He murdered more than say 7 billion bodies. I say bodies because he can't kill souls. He murdered all these people, and most of these people, by the way, went to hell because they chose to follow him. But some of these people escaped and went to the heavens. You can never predict when God's forgiveness passes by you. And although you make negative choices, you can be also forgiven no matter how much you despise God and no matter how much you surrender to the opposite force that is Satan. So, if you surrender to Satan, you have disgrace, you have physical pain, you have physical disease, you have physical trauma, you have disaster. Going back to the sign that I was asking Archangel Michael as I was heading out, I asked him, usually Satan, when you are dedicated, they say to him, now it's fashionable to say that, when you're dedicated to him, he hinders you from your free will choice to enter a temple or church or to look at holy images. So I said, if now I turn, and like I don't want to turn to her, but now if I turn to Mother Mary, in Italy usually we have statues of her at every condo building. So there's a statue where I live in front of it, thing that I didn't find in the US usually, although maybe New Mexico or other cities are more Catholic possibly, but or states that are more Catholic. But I said, if I turn right now and it means that I'm going to reject this pact. I'm going to stay with God forever. And then I did. I turned to her, and I didn't want to, but I did. And then I started singing. I don't remember, don't recall which gospel, which church song that I remembered. So actually, I'm just gonna be spontaneous right now. A client went to me because they want consultation with me, which they wanted at 9:30 local time, but now they want it in a few minutes, so I have to cut this video short. Uh, so anyway, I started singing this gospel, and I started to see what was the light of God truly. Along with it, I had to reject all the other rituals and initiation that I did, um, because I had done different types of magic before dedicating my soul to Lucifer. And I had to start it all over and in a better way. I can guarantee that the relationship with my family and the relationship with my partner, the relationship with the world in general has been restored, and I was given peace. So now I am back where I am convinced I'm not any longer doing whatever seems right or anything that I could lay my hands on, anything that any book that I can read, I read just because all information is good information. Uh, I'm more mature than that. I'm grown up, and I know what to say and what to do every time. That's because the angels and the spirits have constant contact with me, and they speak through me, and they speak through me, and they illuminate me, and they give me advice on what I have to do in the small and great things in life. And in the end, I'm always satisfied. Satan, like some sort of um, mm, cursed fairy dust. He tries to uh, get you close to his nature spirit, as it were. Tries to make you see at the end all these benefits that you're getting. Anything in your life, from you were you were on time to you got a new job, to anything that you've prayed for before uh, meeting him, and that happened while you were with him, he attributes to himself. You could walk, you see how much I'm giving you, you resisted this curse, or you avoided this accident. He creates things at first and makes you avoid them. It happened to me as well, and then he gives himself the merit. That's it. So I have to leave you now, and I'm going to talk to you next time.